What's up, y'all? Welcome back to World Gone Mad. Today we're here at Penrose Record Room in downtown Riverside. They have a lot of records. They buy, sell, and trade all of them. There's also no trespassing. These things will fuck you up if you try to come and break in. But yeah, so we're gonna go ask them some questions and see what's up. Let's go. All right, what's up, guys? We're here with Matt from Penrose Record Room. Let's dive right into the questions. So, Matt, for the people at home that don't know, what is Penrose Records and the Penrose Records Room?
Well, Penrose Records is an independent record label that is founded by my partner, Gabriel Roth, who's a producer, an engineer, and a songwriter and musician. Penrose Records is a subsidiary of Daptone Records, which is a label that he started in the early 2000s. And Penrose is kind of the Southern California subsidiary of that. And it focuses on a lot of bands from this area. And the Penrose Record Room, which we are currently sitting in right now, is a record store in the basement of the Life Arts building in downtown Riverside that Gabriel and I started about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we broke ground on this place, and then we opened in October of 2023. So been open for about a year and a half. Full service, meaning we have new and used. We have all genres. We carry modern stuff. We carry pop records. We carry punk records. We carry hip hop. And we have everything from, dollar bin records to $200 and $300 collectibles. But we do put an emphasis on our catalog from Penrose and Daptone, because Gabe has managed to compile over 250, 300 titles over the last 20 years of being a label, maybe even more than that. So it kind of acts like a little bit of a clubhouse and a hub for our stuff. We get people that are really passionate about our stuff, and they can actually come in and buy it from us directly, and we have listening stations and stuff like that. So a big part of our business is our records, but we do carry everything, and we do well with other titles as well.
Are there any other local artists that people should look out for? Maybe some that I've recorded with Penrose and Daptone?
Well, it's got a nice extensive catalog now. I think we're on our 26th or 27th 45, and we have a couple that are coming out. Vicky Tafoya is also a singer on the label. She's a fantastic singer. I play guitar for her in her band, and the name of that band is Vicky Tafoya and the Big Beat. She lives in Colton, and I live in Riverside, so we're about as local as you could get. The Escapers are a great band. They're from Las Vegas, and they have more of an oldie sound. They're fantastic. Some of the newer artists would be Junior Scaife, who's a great R&B singer, soul singer from back east. Those are some of the other names that are on the label, in addition to, like you said, the Altons, the Sinceres, Los Yesterdays, These Sacred Souls. So as the numbers grow with releases, the artists' catalog also grows as well. We have a record by Jensine Benitez, who was the one of the main singers with the Sacred Souls when they first came out, and we've just been really enjoying the development of the artists and kind of taking the ride with these guys, man. It's nice to be able to be internationally known and locally respected, as they say.
Yeah. What are some of the ups and downs and some of the challenges that come from running a record store?
Well, there's a lot of challenges. For me, it's just kind of about keeping up. We didn't know what kind of a demand we were going to be looking at when we opened. And thankfully, we've been blessed, man. You know, we get a lot of traffic. A lot of people get their records here, and we're really, really proud to serve our community. So my biggest problem is probably just keeping up. You know, making sure that I got all the current titles. You know, new artists that are coming out in genres that I'm not as familiar with. But I rely on the youngsters to keep me hip. You know, and I do a fair share of studying myself, and then I can also kind of turn the young people on to maybe older artists that we know about. So irregardless of the genre, I think it's just keeping up and keeping the bins full. You know, as you can see, we made a beautiful store. We decided to really take our time and try to, you know, be articulate in the aesthetic of the place, you know, create a vibe, and I feel like we did that. And it's beautiful, and I love hanging out in here, but the stock and trade of a record store is what is actually in the bins.
Yeah.
So if, you know, I got people of all ages, all walks of life, young people coming in here, locals, I gotta have what they want, you know, whatever that is, whether that's Latin or international or reggae or blues or punk rock records. And if I don't have it, I gotta get it. So we have a pretty manageable space. We're about 1,000 square foot shop. It doesn't feel daunting or overwhelming when you walk in here. It feels like a good amount of records that people could get through. Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge is just stamina, man, keeping up.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Do you have any particular favorite vinyl in the shop right now?
Oh, favorite records. You know, I'm a little bit older, man, and I've been into old music for a long time. I mean, I've kind of always had one foot in oldies and one foot in punk rock, because I think if you grow up in like Southern California, that's kind of like everybody, right? Like you kind of grow up on your parents' music, and you kind of grow up on like whatever's currently happening.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s and 90s where, you know, even if there was throwback things going on, there was always kind of like a punk element to it.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, the Cramps and all these kind of bands, Social Distortion, if they were kind of doing like an older style, it was still kind of on the punk rock tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of the blending of genres. Almost.
Yeah, it's kind of more of like a hybrid thing.
Yeah.
But the other, you know, arm of what I do or what I was always interested in was the oldies, man, was the music of my parents and even before. So, you know, just the architects of this stuff, man, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Elvis, Ray Charles, you know what I mean? These guys that are the architects of all this stuff, I was really into that. So as far as what I carry in the shop, I always tend to be excited about the records that I have displayed on the wall. You know, because I also feel like that's like you walk into a record store and that's a vibe, man. It's like, what do they got hanging on the wall? And when you come in here and you see everything from the 13th floor elevators to doo-wop records to James Brown to classic, you know, Blue Note and Prestige jazz albums that we have, 60s and 50s rock and roll stuff. That to me is when I'm walking in and out of the back room and I take a look and see what's on the walls, man. I feel like it's just like having a poster on your wall when you're a kid, man. You know what I mean? Could be a Damned record. You know, could be a Sex Pistols record, could be a Chuck Berry record, but I'm usually excited about those display pieces because I feel like somebody nabs that up, that's gonna go to somebody who really wants it. And these days, you know, records are a commitment.
Yeah.
You know, if you pay $40-50 for a record, you know, you could spend that money on, man, a couple of hamburgers, you could take your girlfriend out to dinner, you could go to the movies, you know, your entertainment dollar could be spread out, you know, all over the place, man. So if you come and you spend $50 on a Chuck Berry record, you're really excited about it. So those are the ones that turn me on the most.
Yeah. With regards to the records old and new, there's a lot of people that talk about like different tips to like try to take care of the records. What do you think is the best way to take care of your records to prolong the longevity of them and make sure that they're still playing right?
Well, the hard part about records is if you're dealing with used records, which is a good chunk of our shop, you know, they come to you in the condition that they come to you. You know, it's like pre-loved or pre-owned or however you want to look at that stuff. I always try to tell people ask me a lot, like, what can I do to clean my records and stuff like that. I try to tell people the real truth behind it is like, don't buy messed up records. You know, if you look at the stuff in our bin, we try to really be pretty discerning, pretty methodical about the quality of the stuff that we put out. Again, it comes to me how it comes to me. So a beat up Doors record is still a Doors record. But what I do is our price reflects that. We do sell record players here. We sell quality merchandise, man. We have JBLs and we have Audio Technicas. There's various price points, probably from $200 to $400. And that's because I want to be able to look somebody in the eye respectfully and tell them, you know, you're making a good, proper purchase that you know will ensure the quality and the life of your stuff. You know, you get what you pay for, man.
Yeah.
So
I have two more questions for you.
What you got?
So earlier you talked about the vibe of the store. What is the vibe that you want people to feel when they walk in?
Well, definitely approachability, and I want them to have a sense of welcome right when they walk in the shop. There's an air of kind of cool that goes along with music, right? And nobody wants to seem uncool. And, you know, sometimes people feel as though asking questions isn't cool, or you know, hey man, I should already know this stuff. I'm hanging out, and you know, who's better, Jeff Beck or Eric Clapton, or who's, you know, cooler, you know, so and so or so and so. It's like, man, there's no dumb questions. I want people to feel like we got listening stations right there. I want you to be able to walk in, stay for 5 minutes or 5 hours, play what you like, figure out what you like. If you don't know what it is, make this stuff accessible, and provide an opportunity for people to do some digging and ask some questions. So that's the first vibe. Secondly, we wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing. You know what I mean? Gabe, my partner, you know, he likes wood. He has an old house, and he loves, you know, the preservation of wood. It just makes him feel good. So we said, man, let's make some bins out of wood. Let's put wood paneling on the wall. Let's make it feel like a old 50s or 60s finished basement, or a rumpus room, or, you know.
So all the holders are made in-house.
Oh yeah, we made everything that you see in here. We made, and if we couldn't make it, then we brought it down. So like, obviously, like the posters and stuff hanging on the walls, that's all stuff that we brought in. We did all the light fixtures. We put the floor in. You know, we wanted it to feel like, you know, a place that we wanted to hang out in. But we're kind of Gen X, man. So people of our age and older used to walk into record stores and, you know, be greeted by a clerk and have an exchange with the clerk, and the clerk had knowledge, and the clerk could order something for you, or if he knew what you, or she knew what you were into, he or she could point you in the direction of, oh, you know, I know you're into these groups from England. Have you heard of this group? You know, before YouTube and before there was a thing on the internet that said, you know, if you like this, maybe you'll like this. Yeah. That was a human being, and you talk to them, you know, and human beings just possess way more knowledge, infinitely more, if they've been doing it for a long time. It's not based on an algorithm. It's made to fit. Yeah. You know, if you come in and you're beating the bush on like punk rock records, and I know that's your jam, when you roll through, I'm gonna be like, yo, Christian, I got some new stuff, bro. Like, check this out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you cut the line on that, so you don't gotta walk around for, you know, 50 minutes. So I want people to definitely feel that vibe. You know, we do host events. We host groups that are doing in stores. I've had comedy stuff in here. We've had DJ nights. And we hope to expand on all that stuff. So I want this to definitely feel like, you know, a bit of a community center vibe too. It's like with some style, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like people could kind of come in and you know, chit chat. I mean, there's been times, man, where I get people conversing back and forth with each other in the aisles, you know, about this, that, or the other thing, and they putting each other on to stuff. That's the stuff I like to see, man, because that's like the exchange of knowledge, and that's the growth of our community and the growth of music, man. I mean, this is like, you know, it ain't a museum, man. We want to sell these records to you, but we definitely want to have a vibe where, you know, you can come in and go on a journey and find out about stuff. Yeah,
like building that community too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Some kid comes in here and says, hey, man, my band is playing at such and such down the street. Can I put a flyer up? Like, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Put a flyer up, put a poster up. you know, when the record comes out, do it in store here. Like, I want to encourage all of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, it's a do-it-yourself thing, but people got to do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about do-it-yourself. You know, I mean, you guys got a show. You guys are, you know, interviewing people and kind of talking about the community and putting it online for people to view. Like, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, no worries, man. I appreciate you guys coming through, man.
Anything you want to say to the people before we close out?
Yeah, Penrose Record Room, man, down here on the corner of Lemon and University in downtown Riverside in the Life Arts Building. We're in the basement. There's a record sign outside. You know, when the records spin, come on in, is like we like to say. So if the records are spinning, we're open. Come through 11 to 7, Wednesday through Sunday. All your vinyl record album and 45 needs.
All right. Well, go mad.